The smell of jollof rice and suya wafted through the air, transporting me back to my childhood. I stood in my daughter's backyard, surrounded by the people I loved most in the world, my family. We were gathered for a reunion, a celebration of life, love, and connection. As I looked around, I saw my children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren laughing and chatting. My wife, God rest her soul, would have loved this moment. She always said family was everything, and I never understood the depth of her words until she passed away. I remember the countless times she brought our family together, cooking meals that filled the house with warmth and love. She'd invite our extended family over, and we'd spend hours sharing stories, playing games, and just enjoying each other's company. As I gazed at my family, I felt a mix of emotions: pride, joy, and the hint of sadness. My wife wasn't here to see our family thrive, but I knew she'd be smiling down on us, happy to see us together. My granddaughter, Emma, approached me with a big smile on her face. "Grandpa, can you tell us a story?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. I smiled, feeling a sense of purpose. "Of course, Emma. Come sit down, and I'll tell you about the time your grandmother and I first met." As I began to speak, the family gathered around, drawn in by the sound of my voice. I told them about the market in Lagos, where I saw your grandmother selling beautiful tie-dye fabrics. I told them about how I was immediately smitten and how we talked for hours, exchanging stories and laughter. The family listened entranced as I recounted our courtship, our wedding, and our early years together. They laughed at my jokes and smiled at the happy memories. For a moment, it felt like my wife was right there with us, smiling and laughing along. As the afternoon wore on, we shared a meal together, passing plates of food and drinks around the circle. The conversation flowed easily, with everyone sharing stories and jokes. I felt grateful for this family, for the love and support we gave each other. As the sun began to set, we decided to take a group photo. Everyone gathered together, smiling and waving as the camera captured a moment in time. I looked at the photo, feeling a sense of pride and joy. This was my family, flawed and imperfect, but full of love and life.
As I sat on the porch, surrounded by the familiar sounds of my family's laughter and chatter, my mind began to wander back to the past. I thought about my childhood, growing up in a small village in Nigeria. My parents were farmers, and I remember helping them in the fields, learning the value of hard work and self-sufficiency. I remembered the stories my parents told me about our ancestors, who were known for their bravery and resilience. They were a proud people with a strong sense of community and tradition. I felt a sense of pride knowing that I came from such a rich heritage. As I grew older, I began to realize the importance of family and community in our culture. We were a close-knit community where everyone looked out for each other. I remember the elders in our village who would share stories and wisdom with the younger generation. They were the keepers of our history and traditions. My thoughts were interrupted by the sound of my granddaughter, Emma, calling out to me. "Grandpa, come see what I'm making," she exclaimed. I smiled and walked over to her, curious about what she was creating. She was making a collage using pictures and words to tell a story. I watched as she worked, feeling a sense of pride and joy. She was a creative child with a vibrant imagination. I remember when her mother was young, she used to love making art projects too. It was a trait that had been passed down through generations. As I looked at Emma's collage, I saw a picture of our family tree. She had included pictures of our ancestors, along with quotes and stories about their lives. I was touched by her effort to connect with our heritage. "Emma, this is beautiful," I said, giving her a hug. "You're keeping our family's history alive." She smiled, looking pleased with herself. "I want to learn more about our family, Grandpa. Tell me more stories about our ancestors." I smiled, happy to share more stories with her. We sat down together and I began to tell her about our ancestors, who they were and what they did. I told her about their struggles and triumphs, their joys and sorrows. As I spoke, I felt a sense of connection to the past and to the generations that had come before us. Emma listened intently, her eyes wide with wonder. She asked questions and made comments, showing her interest in our family's history. I was happy to see her so engaged, and I knew that she would carry on our family's traditions and stories. As the day went on, I felt a sense of peace and contentment. I knew that our family's history was safe and that it would be passed down to future generations. I felt grateful for the opportunity to share our stories and traditions with Emma, and I knew that she would carry them forward. The sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the landscape. I looked around at my family, feeling a sense of love and connection. We were a family bound together by our shared history and traditions. I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would face them together as a family. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, we gathered around the dinner table. We shared stories and laughter, enjoying each other's company. I felt grateful for this life and for the family that I loved. As we finished our meal, Emma came over to me and gave me a hug. "Thank you, Grandpa, for sharing our family stories with me. I love you." I hugged her back, feeling a sense of love and connection. "I love you too, Emma. You're a part of our family's history now." I smiled, knowing that our family's story was far from over. There were still many chapters to be written, and I was grateful to be a part of it. As I looked around at my family, I knew that we would continue to create memories, to laugh and love together, and to pass on our traditions and stories to future generations.
The evening drew to a close, and we said our goodbyes. I went to bed feeling grateful for this life and this family. I knew that I had been blessed with a loving family and that our bond would only continue to grow stronger with time. As I drifted off to sleep, I felt a sense of peace and contentment. I knew that our family story would live on and that it would be told and retold for generations to come. And I knew that I had played a part in shaping that story and in passing it down to my loved ones. The next morning, I woke up feeling refreshed and renewed. I knew that I had a purpose, to share our family's stories and traditions with the next generation, and I was grateful for the opportunity to do so.
As I sat on the porch, watching the sun rise over the horizon, I couldn't help but think about the legacy I wanted to leave behind. I thought about all the memories I'd made with my family, the laughter, the tears, and the moments of triumph. I knew that I wanted to leave a legacy of love, a reminder to my family of the importance of connection and relationships. I thought about all the ways I could leave a lasting impact on my family. I could write letters to my children and grandchildren, sharing my wisdom and experiences with them. I could create a family tradition, something that would be passed down through generations. I could also make a video recording, sharing my stories and memories with my family. As I pondered these ideas, my granddaughter Emma came over to me. "Grandpa, what's on your mind?" she asked, noticing the thoughtful look on my face. I smiled and took her hand. "I'm thinking about the legacy I want to leave behind, Emma," I said. "I want to make sure that my family remembers me and the love we shared." Emma nodded, understanding in her eyes. "You'll always be remembered, Grandpa," she said. "You're an important part of our family's history." I smiled, feeling a sense of gratitude toward her. "Thank you, Emma. That means a lot coming from you." As the day went on, I decided to start working on my legacy. I began by writing letters to my children and grandchildren, sharing my stories and wisdom with them. I wrote about my childhood,
my parents, and the experiences I'd had. I shared my values and principles and the lessons I'd learned along the way. As I wrote, I felt a sense of peace and contentment. I knew that I was leaving a lasting impact on my family, something that would be cherished for generations to come. I felt grateful for the opportunity to share my love and wisdom with my family. When I finished writing, I felt a sense of accomplishment. I knew that I'd created something special, something that would be treasured by my family for years to come. I smiled, feeling proud of myself. The next step was to create a family tradition. I thought about all the things that we could do together as a family, things that would bring us closer together and create lasting memories. I decided to start a family journal where we could write down our thoughts, experiences, and memories. I shared my idea with my family, and they were excited about it. We started working on the journal together, writing down our stories and memories. It was a special bonding experience, and I felt grateful to be able to share it with my loved ones. As the days turned into weeks, our family journal became a treasured possession. We'd sit around the dinner table, sharing our stories and memories, and writing them down in the journal. It was a special way to connect with each other and to preserve our family's history. I felt grateful for the opportunity to leave a lasting legacy for my family. I knew that our family journal would be cherished for generations to come, and that it would serve as a reminder of the love and connection that we shared. As I looked around at my family, I felt a sense of pride and joy. We were a family bound together by love and connection, and I knew that our bond would only continue to grow stronger with time. I smiled, feeling grateful for this life and this family. The months passed, and our family journal became an integral part of our lives. We'd read from it during family gatherings, sharing our stories and memories with each other. It was a special way to connect with each other and to remember the love and laughter that we'd shared. I knew that I'd left a lasting legacy for my family, something that would be treasured for generations to come. And I felt grateful for the opportunity to share my love and wisdom with my family. As I sat on the porch, surrounded by my loved ones, I felt a sense of peace and contentment. I knew that I'd lived a good life and that I'd left a lasting impact on my family. I smiled, feeling grateful for this life and this family. And as I looked out at the sunset, I knew that I'd be remembered for generations to come, not just for what I did, but for the love and connection that I shared with my family. I felt grateful for this life and for the opportunity to leave a lasting legacy of love.